he has some games where it's just, you know, sometimes you're like, what the hell is Puppy pipping? That's usually in the second series, you know,
Yes.
or the second game of the series. Lately, it's just been like, even some of these openers are a little bit more wonky. They're definitely going for some type of style. Liquid, stability, definitely finding some really powerhouse heroes that are really strong that they like to play, like their Slardars. Also some sneaky picks like Lone Druid. Me and T actually, we're talking about a bunch of heroes that could be really cool this matchup. So,
Well, I'm excited to see if any of that is going to come out. Of course, one of the biggest things when talking about drafting is the influence outside of the
Sometimes you're
players is the coaching. And today is all in the theme of coaching as we have sat down with Heen, and he is going to talk about his coaching style with Secret.
Well, usually my working days are basically when the player is active, like it goes hand in hand. So if we're playing scrims, then I'm there to spectate every scrim. And post-game, pre-game, we try to have a lot of talks about the game in a way that understanding of the game, like how do you get more than just some of your players comes from just casually talking about. And then preparation for the matches, I'd say I try to get a very solid profile on a team that we're to play.
He's cleaning up, he's found 3, he's ready to run down Seb. Seb can't escape this, Matu chasing.
You can be prepared for what they will do in the draft, but the play is like a different kind of matter where you have no control over how they will play. You just are ready for what they're capable of doing. And then you just have to match it in game, which is once the game starts, out of my hands in a lot of cases. In an ideal world, I would like to have like a blueprint of every player's like knowledge or what they prefer in the game. In a lot of cases, it's hard to really extract all that information from the players.
And at a fall, Sax is going to get cleaned up as well. Triple kill for Matu.
Now, Heen is trying to extract information from his players, and if he's having problems with that, imagine how we feel when trying to learn more about Team Secret as well. A lot of insightful stuff. I mean, it is pretty crazy. Obviously, what a coach does. There's normally very limited time, especially on LAN. I remember talking to Heen after it was Leipzig Major, or was it Leipzig Major? I think that was the last one they won, right? Secret versus EG, best of 5.
yes.
Yes, Leipzig Major.
I'm just putting folks under pressure. It's more fun this way.
Oh, but it was that. Yes. I remember it was a very back and forth game, and we talked. Like he had a very tough job at trying to, have the conversations between each game be very, well, useful. I think that's one of the easiest as a coach. T. How much pressure is there on you?
I mean, there's a lot, right? Like, pretty much everything you bring to the table is like the pre-match stuff. You put it in, you'll put in that practice, you get into the draft, and then pretty much everything that you thought about, it's either comes to fruition when it's like the picks come into play, you're like, nice, I've prepped here.
That's
or
what you did, yeah.
something else comes in, and then your reserve time ticking down, you're like, oh no, what's happening? But yeah, no, there's a lot of pressure on the coach, but I think for Secret so far, they're in a season or a league where they don't need to win anything, right? They're already at TI, and TI is that's the $40 million, that's the Sweden, that's already announced. For them, this is just going to be, they don't have to perform at the highest level, so it's a bit more casual. Of course, they're putting in the effort, but the results are showing.
That's true.
Definitely.
But at what point, because they are doing, I mean, they don't necessarily need to go to the major, let's put it that way. But surely they don't want to get relegated. There is a chance that Team Secret will be relegated to lower division fogged. And the next season round after TI, they might have come first at TI even. If they do really well, win TI, straight to the lower division with you.
That'd be funny.
I mean, we don't know exactly how that's going to go.
That'd be amazing.
That would be really funny for the whole storyline. Not for the lower division teams though.
No.
That would be quite miserable for them.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they're probably looking at this and hoping, like, okay, Secret, come on, start picking some more meta heroes. Start looking to, and they will probably do something more like that. He learns a lot throughout these seasons, and as we said, there is some experimentation that has been coming out from Secret.
There has been for sure. On the other side, on Team Liquid, they have not one, but 2 coaches. One of them is Jabs, and we are going to listen to him talk about his role in the team.
So I started playing Dota in 2008, and I ended up playing most of my professional career during 2017 and 18 for some tier 2 teams in Europe. I originally didn't really plan on becoming a coach analyst type of person in Dota, but I just somehow ended up here. I talked to Blitz and he just thought I would be a good fit for this role. So I ended up being here, and now I really enjoy it.
Over onto the back lines, is trying to escape. He tries to get the armor.
The biggest thing I do is prepare our team for the next opponent always. We talk about their playstyles, their drafts, all the different things you can talk about. And then the other thing I do is I talk to the team. I'm like a sixth voice to the team, just giving an opinion that's usually as objective as possible. An analyst is more like, it's more direct. You do all the theoretical stuff, you do the game-related stuff, you do everything that has to do directly with the game itself and not necessarily mentality.
He wall combo off, but it doesn't even matter. Mickey gets himself a turret.
Coaches are not portrayed as very important in Dota yet. I think coaches have a big impact. How often do you hear about him? Like, he's like an amazing coach. He won TI with his team. And how often do you really see him or hear about him? It's kind of crazy. But I have huge respect to all the coaches. And I just hope that one day I'll be one of them as well, you know, a TI winner.
As the goal, TI winning as a coach or as a player, the goal is always TI. I have to say this. The topic of coaches today that we have going, it was already planned way before today. So maybe a little bit fortunate, or for some people unfortunate, situations here. But he is definitely also, Jab's very instrumental to Team Liquid. Yes. And the team is also very vocal about his input and about his help, especially when they did very well, for example, the first day of the Major Fog.
Yes, I think that he's been a great addition, because Blitz, as we've said like a lot of times, he's not all about like the in-game.
Yeah.
You know, he's about just like keeping the team feeling good, making sure the players are feeling confident in what they're looking to do. Mm-hmm. This is definitely a big help. He's going to be able to rein them in a little bit out of the crazy, which I think is perfect, because at times we do see Liquid going for some of these like very bold plays, and I've seen them just so much more reliant on just like sticking to what they're good at. We're gonna get our stacks, our line, we're gonna pick our confident heroes, we're gonna get Boxy Slaughter, we're gonna get Koikfa comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Sure, now they don't have Boxy, but similar kind of style. They're making everybody feel even more comfortable in these games.
I think it's a good thing to have two coaches in terms of, one is making sure that everybody's feeling happy, everybody's good, everybody wants to win today. And on the other side, there's more a person all about the practicality of it. He doesn't need to be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that sounds really mean, and because I know Jabs, and he's actually really nice. But just the idea that you don't have to wear two hats.
Mm-hmm. And psychology is super important, as we saw, like the whole OG thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The sports psychologist, just keeping yourselves in the right momentum, keeping yourselves like happy, even if you lose. Going into the next game with that type of just like clear conscious, clear head.
You stole my point, Fogged, but it's fine. I was holding on to that until I was like, I'm going to talk about OG and how. But no, for sure. Liquid is also a step ahead, because it feels like they've elevated what OG did before in regards to the coaching, because you have both the psychology and in-game, but both players have like a super, like a finger on the pulse of Dota as well. So that always adds that extra layer, and they look very hungry, especially when Sumo comes in. They're looking pretty scary, that's for sure.
They are.
Yeah, they looked very scary last week, Saturday, I want to say, when they played against Tundra. So far, though, I mean, they did 2-0 smashers, but they still go for the third game every single time.
They do.
They do drop a game every single time, is what I'm... And normally it's game 2. It is actually... I'm not just saying normally. The only time they didn't drop a game 2 was against Hellbear Smashers. It's... I mean, if
they've
you're talking
always won
about
the first
mentality,
game, right?
They've always won the first game.
So what happens if they lose the first game? We're going to have to think that one through. Do you think they've got that plan? They've got two coaches. I hope they've got a plan for when they lose the first... If they lose the first game, that is.
Yeah.
I just think about Insania's interview. We're like, so what happens? And he's just like, I don't know. He's just like, I don't know what goes on with us the second game for some reason. There's no explanation. We just...
Sometimes you get comfortable. Sometimes you'll chit-chat after a game. You can talk about just something that's so off Dota, you come back, you pick it up. Oh, whoop, too late. Off we go.
We're in now. When we talk about this matchup, I think for a lot of people, one of the lanes to watch out for is, of course, the mid matchup. Yes, Sumail's a stand-in, but he still has got it, and he's going up against Anisha. And I want to hear you. We got a little bit more time, and we'll also say that straight up. We got a little bit of a computer problem on one of the players. Of course, we will soon have the game, and then we will have a break and everything. But I first want to talk about that mid lane now that we have some time, because this is a very exciting lane. Fogged, I know you're excited to see this.
Yes, I mean, Sumail's always been, everyone knows, just very king of aggression in the mid lane. I'm wondering if they do try to maybe slip him up a little bit, maybe make some rotations. I know that Taiga really likes to move around the map. Even though this isn't so much of a roaming meta, he still does like to make those moves around.
Yeah.
Maybe tries to help a little bit for Sumail. But on the side of Nisha, he's been struggling. I think it might be a bit of a tough one for him this time around, because he's not been this monster. Like, I've actually, like, in the past, I've been like, oh my god, Nisha is just who is this guy? This guy's just like a god.
Yeah.
He doesn't make these mistakes. Lately, he's been bleeding a lot.
Yeah, and we looked at the research last time Sumo and Nisha played. It's like 6 months ago when Sumo was playing on ping with just error the solo stack. That was it, and they did lose 2-0. So it's like we haven't really seen this matchup in a long time, and I'm just excited to see what they're like. You know, is Nisha, he was voted best mid or best player last year. Sumo, Kyle gives him a lot of praise. So this is it. Prove himself.
Let's see if he can prove himself here. The problems are solved, and that means the draft is just moments away. I'm gonna be ready for this. You are too, and the teams are too. So let's go to a break. We'll be right back. Secret versus Liquid. After the break. We got Team Secret and Team Liquid going head-to-head here in the upper division of the Western European DPC League. You are watching Dream League Season 15, powered by Intel. And Team Secret at the moment is 2 and 3. Not doing too hot on the old ranking. Better yet, they still are very much having a chance of being relegated down. On the other side, Team Liquid is 4 and 1. Now, if they want to be tied with the top of the group at the moment, which is Alliance, they need to win this one and probably also need to win the next one, which, by the way, is OG. Is a tough ask, but Team Liquid still have a chance of making it to that top and force out a tiebreakers with Alliance for the top spot at the group. But we are in the draft here. Tiga, Fogged.
Ooh.
Sladar's gone.
Sladar's gone.
And, Axe and Morphling. Look at that.
Yeah.
So targeting specific players, taking out Zai, seen him struggle. His Axe has been dominant, seen him struggle, as we said, a little bit on the Mars. Nisha Morphling's been something that's been tried and tested, and he wins majority of those games on it. So, okay, putting them on the back foot. Let's see what we got. Even though we were talking in the back, AA is probably going to be a very popular pick.
Yeah.
They still look to ban out Morphling.
And there they pick it. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as we figured.
Yeah, like you look at Secret's previous games, out of like 8 or 9, the 3 wins that they've obtained have been off the back of Axe and Morphling. So this is Liquid very much putting them in a position of your only success has come from these combinations. Show us something new.
Yeah.
Please open up your playbook a little bit more. But honestly, watching Liquid is so exciting right now because they're kind of Sumo just adds that extra layer to the team right now, and it is really just, whew, I don't know, hard to put into words.
I think they've found some like really amazing dynamic too with Koikfa and Taiga now laning together instead of like Boxy and Taiga. Like Koikfa is actually very good in this offlane. It's very comfortable here.
Very smooth transition.
It is exactly. And now Taiga, I feel like he's actually thriving a little bit better off of that because I feel like Koikfa is sacrificing himself a little bit more, just like Boxy does, but in a bit of a cleaner manner.
What are we hearing?
Is that that's the lines? That's the team.
Oh my!
Team
Oh my! Oh,
Yeah.
I legit thought we
I was
like
telling you,
had Liquid comms on Discord, and we're like,
Yeah, I'm like, wow, there's been a mistake.
because Blitz, I heard, Blitz was saying about push. I was like, when you bought push, I was like, brother, you've only picked a snap. Calm down. You got 4 more picks.
I was a little worried there too, but
Alright.
yeah, there's definitely been Liquid been buying their own voice lines. Then I mean, I would too, to be fair.
So I played up against
Ooh, I like this.
Blitz in an unranked game. The other day we did. He played a mid Snapfire.
He did.
And that alone might give me a reason to believe that this is... No, it's not.
Well, to be totally honest, I've even seen Mikke play safe lane Snapfire.
And I
so
love that.
It's
I
a
love
super
that, yeah.
flexible pick. We've seen Liquid do all kind of crazy stuff. However, I actually do think that there's some cool stuff just coming out from the opener here. Strong laner, if it is, let's say, Koikfa going to be the Magnus. Ways to play around it. Cold feet. If you get cold feeted, you got a cookie, you got a skewer to break it. So 2 different types of mechanics to at least avoid the chain stun combo that couldn't come out, which we've seen so often with these AAs, like Wraith King, Spens, even Trolls at times.
Also, I like this as well because it puts a little bit of pressure on Secret to think about like PA. There we go. Okay, they pick it straight away. I was going to say, because if they don't pick PA now, they're most likely going to have to ban it because you're just giving away such an easy draft with Lil Shredder minus armor, Empower, some PA running at you, and instead they just take it away. Which it's quite nice because when you think about the type of stuns Liquid has, you can easily disconnect yourself from this. And yeah, just solid opening so far, nothing too revealing. This is where the ban phase will be a bigger indicator.
Wonder if we do see something maybe like a Wyvern come into play here for Insania. He loves playing save heroes. You see PA, you know it's going to be a physical draft, but you're into AA, which always is a little bit scary at times, but it does do its job. You know, it does do that work and get you some nice setup, which is a potential. And people are liking Wyvern more. I thought the hero was not going to see as much play, but I'm seeing it a bit more than I thought.
Yeah, it really depends on the type of team you're playing against, where if they're playing more for laning pressure than picking Wyvern, you're enabling that and it's going to hurt your draft. But when you see a little like slow rotation heroes who can't really be active on the map, they just play static lanes, then you can just AFK in the lane, get quick levels. That's when it can thrive. But I would be a little bit put off just because of the AA matchup.
Just because of the AA,
it just, like you never happily cold embrace someone. It's as if you're giving away the free ultimate.
Banning out the Tide, combo breaker, strong hero as well. Zai, I think, is going to get some limited hero pool.
No, yeah, for sure. He's going to be targeted pretty hardcore now. And like the reason why I like Secret having PA here is because the heroes that Insania plays naturally are heroes that don't want to be jumped on the backlines, right? You think of some Grim, some Oracle, and you don't want to really pick teamfight like a Warlock because now you're going to have a Mag RP, a Warlock Golem, and a Snapfire. Lots of big damage, but not enough like smaller stuns. So I like the fact that this PA pick, it also breaks down the type of hero that Insania plays, unless he just plays a casual Mag 5, for example.
I mean, they could flex. They could flex
yeah.
so many things here on Liquid. In the bans, Wind Ranger ban makes sense. We saw Sumiel the other day.
Yep.
Straight up builder for MKB can be a counter pretty hard versus both of these. You're elusive. AA Blast can be hard to hit sometimes on these win runs. You're good versus PA in the matchup. Seeing a Legion ban coming out.
Ooh, do you think Secret will be looking at Void as another potential ban? The idea of just the easy enabler of Magnus and the layered damage of Snapfire. PA can never be too happy in these engagements. But of course, PA into Mag does, Void does feel pretty nice much later into the game if you get the jump.
Maybe it would be too cooldown reliant for the side of Liquid, but perhaps. Legion, as we said, Zai, he's going to be very targeted in this one.
Yeah.
Take out that Legion too. And when you see PA in a draft, most of the draft does revolve around that PA. So anything to just kind of protect him is going to be one of those approaches that we would probably see Secret go. So
yeah,
save, gone.
These offlane bans.
Zai's already like, oh god, all right, well, whatever. I play. Zai's like, hit the
plays
random button.
everything.
Hit the random
Yeah.
button. So he's still got those opportunities for pretty much.
So what are some of the heroes that you guys were talking about that you really wanted to see this this series? Lone Druid was one of them?
Lone Druid was one. We were talking about AA Slardars
Yeah.
a lot. So those were taken.
Lone
up
Druid does
early.
fall off because of PA. I think when you play Lone Druid into PA, you always just feel like you're going to get blown up, and when you go high ground, you're just going to get jumped, and it's going to be a bit too hard. But Liquid, their bans, it makes me feel that maybe the Mag could just be some casual 5 because they're banning more independent offlanes that
True.
easily deal with enabled carries and physical damage, and yeah, Timber as well. So
Okay, yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. Zai's gonna.
oh, they just go for Oracle. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Also, I guess the flip side to that is if they do Mag in a core role, if they go for a defensive 5, there's no rotation potential, so it's also just taken away the offlane is that forced rotation. So yeah, Liquid very much playing solid lanes, but not really wanting to move too quickly on the map. A farm game is what Liquid are looking for right now.
And it can't just be that straight counter, of course, versus the AA. As we figured, Insania is gonna look for one of those saves.
Considering it is Team Liquid and they have done this before, even in tiebreakers from the previous season, is there a chance of a Huskar, or is that not really in the books today?
I think with the role swap scenario, I think it's less likely.
Oh, they go for
And
the
they just go,
Shrek?
yeah, it's just
They
like,
go
of
for
course,
the
Leshrac,
Lesh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just the go-to. They picked it last time they played up against PA, against Smashers. It was the same concept of draft. It was Snapfire, Slardar, Oracle, Leshrac. This time, swapping out the Slardar for the Magnus.
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of Lesh right now, especially like 10 times more if you have any type of way to protect him. Extra protection, even with like RP to cover him. The Oracle makes a lot of sense here. Sand King.
The only caveat to this type of draft now is Liquid doesn't have that frontliner, and also when you have Magnus plus Leshrac, whoever's being empowered also wants access to the jungle. So Liquid are going to have to do a really good job at enabling Leshrac to farm the topside jungle away from Ancients, whilst also stacking the Ancients for whoever's going to get empowered. So they're going to have to be really efficient on the jungle. And in Secret, they're now looking at that 4 pairing to play with the Sand King. Of course, like Willow, Morana come to mind, a casual Rubik as well, but yeah, just any ranged hero to apply some pressure. Wow, they actually just go for a puck.
Okay, seeing some limited catch for him in particular.
Yep.
Lots of team fight. Secret really doubling down on it. Oracle looks quite good. Like this, just Fate's Edict in general looks really detrimental toward the side of Secret. But Secret's looking to battle. That's what we did see.
A lot of fight.
OG Secret, that was 37 to 37. Like these crazy type of battle coming out from them. So
Yeah, the key thing here is they're not looking to battle head on. They're having the wave clear, they're having the tower defense, and then they'll take the fight after when PA jumps in after.
and ways to swoop around to the back line here to catch onto the Oracle here. Nice silence for coverage too. Both teams.
And look, they picked the puck here because like I mentioned pos 4s, but realistically I listed like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
And there's not enough bans to cover that, so they instantly snap up the mid hero that can at least play into Leshrac and not instantly die. We've seen Sumo dominate quite a lot of lanes on this Lesh so far.
And there's, for Nisha, this will be the first puck for the season, actually.
Okay.
Okay. And I mean, I don't want to put it out completely just yet, but we used to see Puppy play puck.
Yes.
We have
True.
seen Yapsor play AA. If they do some crazy
True.
aggressive sanking AA,
Do.
it's not great, but thanks. Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, it still could be flexible. It's not likely. It's probably just going to be the more standard, but
The real question for Liquid is what is going to be their empowered core? We've mentioned like Void already. I think that's still pretty good, especially into the type of lane that Secret are presenting. It helps with the enabled damage of Leshrac as well.
they could just go for something really safe like a Jug.
Okay. Yeah, true.
Right?
In my mind, I'm thinking like
It's not a
Void,
good core matchup, but
Jug, true. Core matchup's kind of awkward, but the rest of the game it's really good. And then also they could just double down on passive nature and just go for like a Spectre and
No
just be like,
Jug.
we're gonna win the late game hardcore.
they banned the Jug. I like
Yep.
the Jug just because like you can't get ganked. Like you
Sure,
see a
yeah.
puck get coiled, you just see spin TP out. You have like so many different ways to play around it. The lane, you actually can pose kill threat pretty nicely here too.
Oh yeah, give Sand King. That's the key thing, right? It
Shuts him
You
down.
need to give Sand King a game, and Troll Jug are the more dominant cores.
Yes.
The carriers that I just mentioned are less lane winners, so that would actually enable a Sand King. So yeah, these bans are very much tailored toward giving Yapzor and Zai some pressure in the lane.
Do we like a Faceless Void for Team Liquid still? I mean, in terms of what's still in the pool and what Mickey has been recently playing.
I still don't mind it. We'll see what pick Secret go for. It's Willow or Rubik is the 4s, unless they're doing some roll swap shenanigans, and this is, you know, a bit of flexibility here.
I like these two bans, the Nyx and the Mirana. Mirana, even though you're into Oracle, your Oracle has to commit.
Well, he will die in
ultimate
the lane.
Dispel,
That's-
and yeah, he'll die in the lane. So I do like that ban. Nyx also makes a lot of sense when you're playing with the AA or versus the AA. Great way to scout, great way to get information in back lines versus like Oracle. So good bans.
So
On
what's,
both sides, I like both of them actually.
yes, what's Secret flexing here though? Are they being creative, or is it just a puck mid?
Ooh.
Oh, they go for a beast mod. Okay.
Oh,
So it is going to be some most likely
5 puck, right?
5 puck. Yeah, 5.
You think
pucks
Nisha
in AA.
Beastmaster still?
Yeah.
Yep, looks
Yeah,
like it.
sure.
Okay.
Oh, Insane just
So-
scooting around. Beep, beep, need to pick my hero. And what's left? They need most
Mickey.
likely, yeah, they're carrying.
I've not seen a Beastmaster since the nerf.
Yeah, I
Definitely not seeing a whole bunch of them. Not in the mid lane for sure.
No,
when the nerf-
and into dispels too. You're
Yeah.
into Oracle, who can dispel the buff,
That's very
debuffs. You
true,
also
yeah.
just pop a Fate's Edict onto somebody,
Yep.
protect versus Axis too. So, bit of an interesting choice coming out from Secret.
but it gives them that grouping, like when they play their laning phase, PA with one active item, Sand King Blink, and then the Beastmaster Ags, they'll instantly get an Aegis for the PA. It takes around 30 seconds now compared to the 20 before the nerf.
True.
And that will give PA enough time to run into what Liquid have. They don't have cheap stuns. They can't lock down this PA. And if she has an Aegis, it's going to be a big threat. So I like the idea of Beastmaster just for giving that Aegis potential.
And they do have ways
let's
to
push, yeah.
Yeah, and they do have ways to at least get onto Oracle. Like Puck's job is gonna have to be just to be disrupt this Oracle, because otherwise, Beastmaster Roar, that's one that you feel very good about just false promising right on
Exactly,
top
yeah.
of. So I'm a little bit skeptical on this Beast pick. I gotta be honest. I feel
Question.
like you could suffer in lane.
The
Answer.
voice lines, are those going out to
They go
the...
for
And they do
yeah,
just go
sure.
for Void.
Yeah.
Are they go out to the enemy team as well, or is it all chat?
It's
or is it...
all chat. So basically,
Oh, okay.
for a fine price of nearly 20 quid, you get all chats for like a couple weeks.
Okay, I was just
Oh.
curious, considering it was pretty funny hearing. Let's just constantly say let's push, or whatever.
Yeah, I think teams could have been a little bit better with their all chats, knowing that their team has access to it. But yeah, as expected, the Liquid does eventually go for the Void.
Look at Secret, who's playing what? They're just
Yeah.
doing it a little bit more standard. Nisha is gonna play Puck. Zai's
Wow.
actually gonna play
Okay,
Beastmaster.
sure.
So they're gonna play like the normal, I guess, roles. And Yapzor playing Sanking. This lane looks weak though.
Which is
Beastmaster
interesting.
Sanking.
Beastmaster is technically the old age counter to the Void.
It is.
In terms of laning phase. Of course, not buying Necro might offset that slightly and give Void some better presence. But if you just go for a Dominator, still will have the same impact. But dude, I like the skirmishing, the fight from Secret. But yeah, Liquid just doubled down on saying we will be able to win this late game.
Yeah, I quite like what Liquid's got going for them. They've looked really comfortable with when they can fight around towers with this Void plus the Snapfire early on. They can still look to take fights in that early time of the game. And
What's up,
that's a
T?
little
I
hard.
want to see the upgraded Dominator. It's very expensive.
It's
It
very
is very
but like,
expensive.
why not?
But
Why
you gotta
not?
get the money. Why not? Is it might make you lose.
Because I done it before.
That's true.
If the game's
when
going
they
well,
were crushing it, yeah.
yeah, if
exactly.
they're losing the game, don't grief. But if the game's going well, get a cheeky Golem in the mix. Why
Quick
not?
question: Puck
Fair.
versus Lesh. Who's supposed to win? You guys were mentioning the mid lane.
Trade a farm.
Trade a farm.
Trade a farm. Okay, that's not that exciting, but the game itself will definitely be exciting and made even extra exciting by our commentary duo of Cap and Kyle.
You're too kind, Sheever. We'll try our best anyway. But yeah, this is going to be the first real test for Liquid with the new Sumail lineup, right? They've managed to face up against Brame, Hellbear Smashers, Tundra, all teams that are expected to be bottom 4. But now they're facing up against Team Secret, who are supposed to be, anyway, the top dogs of the group. Not actually the reality for
No.
this season, though, Kyle.
Indeed, they're actually still part of that bottom 4, at least as the standings appear now.
They certainly are.
And the scuffed spray coming out, Arteezy's beautiful face. This is the first time I've seen him streaming in a while. If you're watching, please feel free.
Yeah, so just for everybody knows, yeah, if you could tell right there, Secret are supporting evil geniuses. As I have no doubt that Zai was probably leading that charge, as yes, they were spamming that one earlier. Stop jungling, let's push. And then Insania was spamming his own line, which is, I know we probably lost, but let's try anyway.
That's a great life motto. We're going to see this all day, probably all week, all year perhaps, depends on how long these last. But yeah, to set the stage, you know, Liquid, they're in a scenario, they can still come out first of this group and put themselves in a great place to qualify, but they would need to beat Secret, beat OG, and then win a tiebreaker against Alliance. So must win. And Secret, they're just trying to get to the major. They're qualified to TI, but would probably like to spare themselves the embarrassment of possibly being relegated, which is in the cards if they were to lose here today.
Can you imagine such an insane scenario? We're going to TI, but we're also a lower division team.
See you after TI. What would happen? You know, you win TI. Does that help you? Is there a provision that you get upgraded, or would you
I mean, that
well,
would be common sense, but at the same time, I mean, rules are rules.
Rules are rules, Cap. Rules are rules.
Nice D-ward there by Secret. Of course, you saw the nice ward bro being spammed by Liquid as they do get D-warded. All right, so our top lane matchup, the Secret did do a bit of a swerve. They picked up the Sand King. They're like, here's our offlaner, here's our offlaner. Boom, it's a 4 position. We're actually at Beastmaster instead. Do you like this? Do you think that swerve is actually going to be good for Secret?
I mean, I love Beastmaster. I think it's underpicked. Yes, we removed Necro. Yes, the Ags was nerfed, but the hero itself got a ton of buffs. Look at that base damage with the Bracer, 68 damage. You are one of the only offlaners that is actually like more base damage than a Void. That's insanity. They are gonna initiate on him.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah, the hero just lanes super well. I think the HOD, the Vlads, the Solar Crest, all these items are still built quite nicely. It's just a question of how well can you do in lane. I think Fogged was correct. You should have a little bit of concern. A Sandstorm level 1 Sand King, not exactly the ideal laning partner as a 4 position?
Yeah, I was going to transition to that. You're talking about how Beastmaster's so good. His stats are great. Look at his damage. It's amazing. But Sand King as a 4 position is the downside, right? That is not a good laning support for you at all, and it is beginning to cost Zai a bit as he is constantly being forced away from the creep wave.
Yeah, bottom lane as well. Secret should have an edge. Just the AIPA spam is quite tough to deal with, although I expect Koifa's wand will certainly pay dividends. He's really disciplined about that. All the Liquid guys are. If it's a lane that's good for a stick, almost all of them are going to pick one up. In fact, Taiga even started the game with one. My concern in the top lane is when you think about Beastmaster dominating lanes, it was with a more aggressive partner, you know, like the Dazzle Beastmaster of old. Sand King, this isn't really what you're looking to have him, your partner, do. You want to be trading hits against this Void. Beastmaster can't do it by himself. But I guess he can at least kind of poke Insanius.
And if it's going okay now, it should get better as time goes on, right? Like Sand King, the problem with Sand King as a support is he just sucks level 1. But you get him to level 3, level 5, and his power spikes start helping win the lane a little bit. What about our mid lane matchup? This is going to be a fun one.
That's the one I've been watching.
Nisha versus Sumail. Puck versus Leshrac.
Yeah, it's again we've seen this a few times. Puck has a tough time manning up on runes because if you get caught in Edict range with no orb, you just feed. You have such limited base armor, but you have more base damage and you have a much more effective time hitting your opponent with your nuke. And 10 damage in the mid lane is a pretty significant add. And you also obviously can juke the auto attack. Lesh stun is pretty easy to dodge as well with the phase shift. So expect Nisha to pull ahead. But then Sumail should have an easier time accelerating, farming stacks, pushing the lane later on.
And it's a bit like a DK is, Sumail.
Yeah.
Getting a bit low. It's a bit like the DK versus Puck matchup, right? Whereas Puck wants to be able to rotate anywhere, he's going to find that his tower may die very quickly. So that is going to be something that Secret are going to have to solve.
Just got to be careful. Yeah, you can see you're forced to spend more mana than you may like just because Puck is always hitting you with the Q. You have a hard time doing the same.
Our first blood still open in the air here, trying to go for the skewer back. Does manage to get him. Taiga very low, so he's unable to assist that attempted kill onto Puppey. He'll take last hits while Koifa is away. How do you feel Koifa's transition to back to the off lane?
Oh, very well. I love what he's been doing. I think his hero pool is still a bit limited. We haven't really seen him play much outside of maybe Slardar and Mag, but I do like the way he's adjusted. Even if you look at his skill build, 2 points in Q, that was changed in that last patch. Empower got a slight nerf, or a buff rather, but more importantly, the Shockwave had a mana cost reduction, so super valuable, especially when you rush this stick against 2 heroes that are always spamming spells.
Too bad, Taiga. If he had gone for that suicide in the tower 5 seconds later, then he would have found a courier kill to go with it, but as it is. He just wants to be able to reset, come back into lane, ferry a bunch of regen for Koifa, who is kind of needing it due to, as you said, all the spam of the daggers from the PA. Top lane still going at it. But now the boar is getting tough to be able to nuke down, and Mickey is having a harder and harder time being able to push Zai out of lane.
Zai also going for the stats build, double bracer. I'm curious to see how he's going to itemize up here. Now a raindrop in boots, because there's a lot of arguments here. You can go for the aura build, you can still try to play with creep army and just get the early HOD, but typically when we saw HODs picked up, they were rushed. So I expect him to go for maybe just a first item Solar Crest, more of a battle build. Who knows? He has nothing queued up.
Here comes Mickey. He's going to time walk into this one and manage to get a lucky first hit bash here, which will allow him to do a lot more damage onto Zai as he chases him down, but the boar will allow him to disengage, and that is part of the problem. Bottom lane, Koifa going in for a deep dive here to try and finish off Puppey.
Wow, he even has the 2 points in Skewer. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Typically, you'll see Empower skilled up earlier just because at a point he'll be moving around Mickey and giving him that free Battle Fury, but more of the laning pressure build.
Was tripping out for a moment there. I was like, wait, when did we get a kill?
Yeah.
That was just a suicide earlier. That first blood is still available, and they're going to go for it on the side of Liquid. A two-man Shockwave Skewer combination, and Puppey is going to be left behind, while Matumba Man is able to use his mobility, jump away to safety. First blood going to Taiga.
So you're saying, how is he adjusting? Well, what was that, a two-person Shockwave into Skewer back combo? You're typically going to find it challenging to do that onto just one target. But both mid laners like to watch this. Sumail, we remove luck from the first couple of runes, but 6 minutes he grabs an arcane rune. That's money in the bank right there. And now he's top net worth because of his ability to then farm out the jungle with ease.
Did he have stacks available, or was that just...
I believe there was a double on the hard camp by Ancient Stack. I could be incorrect.
That would do it. Sumail stacking for himself there. So if I had to guess, probably stack the easy camp once and then stack the hard camp when he made that rotation over.
But this is nice. Yapsor, you see him, he's finding the stacks that were placed up top.
Nice.
There is a ward, defensive ward place, because they wanted to protect
these. Mickey over and everything. They really want to punish Yapsor for this, and they're going to go for it. He's going to be stuck here, taking a lot of damage, but does have the Burrow Strike onto 2, going the other direction, away from Mickey, but is too slow to be able to stay ahead of them. Should be dying here. Insania gets the kill. It's remarkable that they actually, and it's not many times you'd see a carry be willing to leave his lane to protect that stack like he did.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the Liquid style, especially now with Sumail in the mid lane, playing around his Leshrac, especially in this game as more of the carry. I love Sumail's itemization. He grabbed an early cloak. Expect that to become an eternal shroud at a point. I've been talking with Tigov about this. You don't get the spell amplification stack if you were to say go Bloodstone, an extra shroud, but the lifesteal from spells does stack.
Taking advantage of the death, Yapsor gonna make a Sandstorm Burrow Strike play, but he's taking too much damage. They did not estimate their damage correctly as Sumail was able to tank through it in part, Kyle, because the 15%.
15% bonus magic resistance cap.
Pretty crazy. Now Matumba Man's in a bit of trouble here. They're going to give him the cookie. Hops right on over. He's got a dagger, and I thought maybe he would go for the kill onto Taiga, but instead Matumba Man trying to value his own life and his own escape out of here. But there's not a ton of places he can run to here. The Shockwave's going to catch up to him. It's going to take a long time for Liquid to chase him down. But Insania's looking to be able to cut him off, and Taiga's there with the cookie. So eventually they find the kill.
Yeah, really nice job from Liquid so far. Just playing fast around the map. We just see the supports consistently finding space. This is the trouble, again, with the Sand King as a hero. You sort of fill the same role in a game as a Tusk, as an Earth Spirit, but you don't really roam. The Sandstorm's nice for pushing lanes, but you can't do that against heroes like Leshrac.
Yeah.
And it's just underwhelming as a hero concept. And now he might be dead.
It's one of the most valuable things is being able to protect your towers with Sandstorm, but he just cannot do this underleveled against Leshrac, who's very strong. Matumba Man rotating like that, but it does leave Puppey alone, trying to get solo experience, trying to get to his level 6, but is instead found and killed. 2-7, Liquid off to a decent start. Obviously, numbers are very high for them, but just a 1K gold lead for now. What do you think is the difference between Secret this season and last season?
Oh, I thought they might go for that there. I mean, perhaps a little bit is complacency. We even heard in the interview, Yaps were saying how he's very serious, but of course Zai was, you know, just, he was, I don't know what he's doing in quarantine, to be honest, but apparently he'd been playing too much backgammon and didn't focus enough on his Dota studies. They are pretty much qualified for TI, so not as much pressure, maybe draft experimenting, or perhaps just the other teams got their asses in gear because, you know, it's put up or shut up time now in the DPC.
Do you feel like the new patch hurt Secret in any specific way, or is it just a general change is going to hurt a team that was super dominant before?
A bit of both. I also think all the competition got better, right? We've discussed, I feel like this Liquid lineup is certainly playing better than the last seasons.
Yeah.
Miracle.
Alliance looks top-notch again, like they did last season.
Miracle back to mid for Nigma, I think, is also definitely impactful.
True.
OG, you know, started trying again. Good to see.
Brought Anna back into Page. They're going to go for the kill on Mickey here, and they certainly have enough disables to kill him. It's 4 different heroes to the top lane. The 5th one is Puppy sitting mid, but he just cannot stay in lane for long, constantly being hunted down.
I love this Eternal Shroud item. I'm surprised we've seen it. We haven't seen it in so long on a Leshrac, on a hero like Death Prophet, because it removes the negative mana effects from popping a hood.
Yeah.
You get the increased survivability, but you actually get more mana back if you get the full spell absorption, which is quite easy when you look at the raw amount of magical power on Team Secret. You can't turn it off, and if you're going to kill Lesh, it's going to be through magic damage. So it's a way to increase your damage output in fights, but dramatically increase your survivability as well, which is something I'm always a fan of.
It feels a little antithetical to how you want to deal with a Leshrac. He shows up, he's just raw damage. You want to focus that guy down, but if you do that, you're actually giving him mana.
Indeed.
More power to be able to keep his nukes going.
And Leshrac is a hero that if he is able to run in, that is when the hero is effective. They also have, of course, an Oracle, so the more resistance, there's this age-old discussion about what's better, just raw HP versus resistance in the form of physical or magical. Whenever the more EHP, the more HP you have through healing, through sustain, the better resistance becomes. So it's even more valid here because you have an Oracle that's going to represent so much healing behind you.
And it's beginning to show its effect here with Liquid building a bit more of a net worth lead, but
it takes the mana cost on activating the hood down to just 60, but you can get restored 400. Which is the block that would then be absorbed. So it actually turns his mana pool into close to 1,300.
Now, one problem Liquid may have is, well, they won't have a problem killing Yapzor. It's looking like he's just nuked down. I was going to say the Beastmaster. Beastmaster did take his tower, is beginning to assert some control over this side of the map, and may even be able to find a pick-off, but Koifa...
Spidey senses.
Yeah, wise to a potential gank here. Managed to get away from the Ice Blast and the Primal Roar combination. Now Sumail given a heal that allows him to feel good about going back in. Puppy's here as well, but they don't have the Ice Blast. Nisha really trying to gun for this kill as they have the rotation coming over from Zai, but Sumail just charges forward, and he's like, okay, you've got your boars? Not anymore. Zapsor finds an opening. Nice play by Insani with the Fate's Edict before he came down from the Burrow Strike, so he didn't take any damage there.
Insani's doing a great job stacking whenever he has free time, consistently playing around his course properly. And Liquid have adjusted quite nicely into this 3 Protect 2 style. Sumail and Mickey all farm happy. Koifa is pretty content. He's got his Blink Dagger Arcanes. He's ready to either make moves or become an Empower bot. Meanwhile, Secret, kind of in this 3-core style, the PA needs some more time to come online. Also going for a slower build. Has to buy the Battle Fury. He doesn't get the built-in Empower. Nice RP.
Straight up RP. They also had the Fortune Den to be able to lock Nisha in place a little bit longer, but it wasn't quite what Koifa was hoping for because he didn't get the skewer. May not matter though. Time dilation. And Puck's not going anywhere.
Yeah, they brought plenty of heroes, but not the greatest synergy there. They didn't have the skewer. Not quite sure. They just messed up a little bit there. I think that was a Fortune Zen pre-channeled on the mag that then didn't land, so.
Oh, trying to catch up to him to get the lightning slow, to get the follow-up, but not quite there. You can see Liquid's have an understanding. They feel much stronger than Team Secret right now, and they're just running at heroes wherever they show up on the map.
Yeah. And it's just tough for Secret to do anything about this. The limitations of their draft, right? PA, he's just gonna farm. This hero can't really do anything in a fight till post BKB. Nisha is attempting to make plays, but he has a Witchblade, no Blink Dagger, and YapzOr is Sand King.
So what does Secret's lineup do well then? If it's not this period of time, when are they going to be strong?
It's going to be PA versus the world. You're going to need to see Matumbaman at the top of the net worth chart, not second place, preferably with an Aegis, and utilizing their global vision advantage. You know, a bird scout into a roar, maybe an AA blast on top if necessary. And later on in the game, the power of the Liquid support duo was going to be negated because suddenly there's this insanely farm PA who kills off the Oracle in a crit or two. Until you get to that point, it's way too difficult to position properly because Insania is always going to be there. He's always going to save his cores. There's not really much you're going to be able to do about it as Team Secret.
So a combination of the... Because when you're drafting, you're not trying to make it PA versus the world, right? Yeah. Like, Secret obviously had a different idea of what was going to happen here, but you're saying the Oracle and the five-man nature of Liquid, they're grouping up so much that it's hard for the Puck and Sand King to do anything offensively.
At best, you're going to have like Mickey or Koifa playing this bottom lane. Sure, you could maybe make a move on him, but Sumail is... There's nothing you can do about it. Talked with, I think it was either Fog or BSJ backstage, just about how important pushing this mid lane is. So you've got enemy tower down as Liquid, and the Leshrac is free. Whenever it gets even close to the river, you're pushing it across. Insania is keeping you safe. It's not a place you can make a move. YapzOr in trouble. He'll be fine. But, I mean, Secret are not necessarily falling behind, right? They're still stacking Ancients. PA has a Battle Fury, but there's really no moves they can make. They're content to just sort of sit down. Matu's farming now his 6th or 7th stack this minute, and just kind of see what plays out.
Basically, they managed to stem the bleeding. They've kept it at a 2K net worth lead for Liquid, and that's mostly thanks to the efficiency of Battle Fury PA and farming those Ancients. And that's like kind of a hallmark of PA lineups, right? Is that like you're never out of the game as long as you're still holding your triangle.
Indeed. And Liquid want to deny that.
He's with the Haste Rune, finding an opportunity, does manage to get the silence, and they're going to quickly take out the Primal Roar, but now there's the coil there as well, and that'll hold Sumail in place long enough for them to be able to retreat. Now an Ice Blast is going to nick Insania here, and Matumbaman is hoping to throw one more dagger to catch him. Maybe the Puck. Nisha didn't want to jump for it. And maybe it's for the best. He didn't have his Blink Dagger just yet.
You can see how the draft can work, though, for Secret. They had a vision advantage there. They had the high ground. Sure, you trade Roar for Insania's ultimate, but then the coil for control. And then later, with the bird vision, it's going to be really easy for them to poke and prod. They've got very low CDs on the Puck Sand King. AA can throw out a blast. PA, of course, with the dagger and jump spam. But the team fight of Liquid, that's the key. They have hard save and then a Chronosphere and an RP. But it's about playing around those cooldowns as Secret and potentially even using buybacks if it's necessary to turn a fight.
Well, a team fight that may just be good enough for Secret to take is one around the Roshan pit. The nice Ice Blast like that. It is dwindling, though. Nisha's just kind of poking at him. YapzOr going to go for the kill, though. Mickey is going to survive ever so barely. Meanwhile, we've got Zai, who's going to be run down by Sumail. Doesn't have an out here. YapzOr is being nailed by Taiga. Shot after shot. A Chronosphere catching Matumbaman and saving Taiga's life for the time being. With a follow-up stun from Sumail, they'll chain lock him to death. And Nisha couldn't even get in there to finish off Taiga or any of the other low heroes. They're going to still have their RP. They blow that on Nisha to ensure the 4th kill and a Roshan.
Wow, I mean, credit to Mickey, and again, just the way the Liquid's itemization is working out. He had a Sange there, otherwise he dies. He went for the more defensive style, because you can see, he's going to get jumped. A lot of damage comes out. The full epi from YapzOr. Watch Insania. He's not even looking at his Void. He's trying to help Sumail, and Mickey leaps away with under 150 HP. If he dies there, totally different fight. The Chronosphere secured the PA kill, and then Puck, of course, chased down at the end, but all comes down to they can't kill this Void, sitting at over 2,000 HP on Strength Treads, which, of course, was what he had toggled when he got jumped.
And that entire, like, that so fits Mickey's playstyle, right? Because he doesn't do that thing where he's off AFK farming without the rest of his team. They're not. He's always seeming to join them. So him going a very stat-focused build does allow him a little bit more leeway in that regard. 300 health talent there included. Now, as a reward, he's got himself a secondary life in Aegis and a 5,000 net worth.
It's the whole team with this concept, right? Insania, sure, he doesn't have any real HP items, but check out the mag. He's going pipe right after blink. We already talked about the shroud on Sumail. Taiga sitting on a fluffy hat. Snapfire has way more strength gain than I realized. Of course, it is primary, but nearly 2,000 HP in a solar crest. So
yeah, fluffy hat helping out a little bit there as well.
Yeah, Secret just aren't really in a position to take team fights with Chronosphere and RP active. You can even see there, Liquid, so long as they have their heroes alive, both of those spells represent kills on course.
It's like they're using, Ice Blast. It's going to come in. They're going to finish off Koifa, using the 3 heroes to do so, but Mickey is not a target they can go for. They just need to try and get out if they can. Yaps are being spotted by the blobs of fire. Look at him. He's changing the Mortimer's Kisses over to where he thinks Nisha is because he knows Yapster's already dead.
Taiga's so sick with those kisses.
He really is. He spots out Nisha.
Man, is a problem.
And Sumail is still trying to catch him here. Is that a haste rune? It is.
Another one.
Found another big power rune. He's going to use it to try and chase down. No.
Yeah, but that sequence was a lot better for Secret. Sure, they trade bottom, but that whole time, they're farming PA mid. The Beastmaster was top, now shoving a lane, also dragging this one away.
That's a cute play.
Yeah, free damage. And this is how you want to play this if you're Secret. You got to split the map. Team fighting into Liquid right now with their cooldowns and Aegis, it's just not possible.
Like we talk about all these early game items they're going for. They're heavily focusing on the magic damage aspect of Team Secret. It does mean that if they don't continue this ball rolling, eventually the PA is going to come in and start taking over the game, right?
Yeah. They got to stay ahead. I mean, at a point, you have a void, right? You're not exactly going to fall off, but PA, I think, is always a little spooky. Oh, nice TP.
Smooth move there from Liquid as they take that bottom tier 2 tower, but also use it to subtly move.
Whoa.
They left Sumail behind, though, and Sumail actually getting caught gives away a dominating kill streak.
Looks like they interrupted his TP on the way out. Got a little greedy there, trying to both push and then get out. He does take the tier 2, so the outpost will be available. Surprised that really both players died there because Zai also had a bird above tower top. Not sure how Koifa was able to sneak in and get the RP. But Sumail certainly should not die there. It makes that move top not even worth it. You can see the reflected in the net worth. Only a 3,000 gold lead now for Liquid. More importantly, check the top. Matumba Man, first time in the game, I believe, is now #1.
And once he gets a BKB, that'll be real dangerous. There goes a lot of the damage of Liquid.
And we've discussed the itemization. It's all magical focused because they weren't counting on PA being a problem for some time.
Cookie lands on a Yapzor, but Taiga is already dead. They're going to skewer on out before the Ice Blast could land, but here comes the reinforcements. Mickey and Sumail going for different targets here. Mickey really wanting the kill on the Phantom Assassin, throws down the Chronosphere for it. Koif on a sliver of HP, while Mickey trying to focus on Matumba Man, but he's got to go back. He's got to help out Sumail, who's currently caught by Yapzor with the epicenter. They throw out the ultimate. Insania is going to be able to give him that false promise to keep him alive, but Sumail, they're struggling to be able to stay on top of Team Secret. They're being kited around here constantly. The Cold Feet's going to be able to latch Sumail down. Now they can try and focus him down with a stun burrow strike and the Matumba Man damage. They are looking to be able to wipe Liquid here as Mickey's going to go for a high ground. TP out, just doesn't get it off in time. The Primal Roar, and now there's going to be a burrow strike. Mickey very likely to die here a second time. Oop, gets popped down to low ground, but it doesn't matter. Team White, Team Secret, turning the whole game around.
Yeah, they're playing flawlessly there. Secret, they want to make sure that this fight takes place on as many screens as possible. The spacing was insane. You have no synergy in the damage output from the Lesh and the Void. Mickey did get a full chrono on Matumba Man, but alone. There was no damage. Yeah. No one was even in the vicinity. Nobody was even on that same high ground. We can watch it on the replay here. Good stun in from Yapzor. He will die, but he just buys back immediately, which is the right trade. Hey, Blast might miss, but they split the fight.
Yeah, different motivations there. They could have both gone for Zai, or maybe everyone chased after Matumba Man.
Yeah, good bore micro from Zai. You saw him hit all 3 heroes in the vicinity to apply the slow. So yeah, now there's no chrono. Look at the spacing. Yapzor, he's bought back now. He's in with the Epi, forces the Insania ultimate. Mickey still lost, still hasn't hit anybody really in this entire team fight, and everyone just runs away from him as they then kite the Mag and the Lesh. Nisha, he's going out of mana. He's used so many spells in this fight. Roar not even used yet, and YapzOr got, I believe, 3 or 4 stuns. Of course, including the need of a buyback. But either way, that's how you want to play it if you're Team Secret. Liquid, you gotta have more coordination. You cannot afford to be caught on different targets.
And a rare smile from Puppy, as he knows they totally just worked Liquid in that last team fight. And now we're beginning to speed up that timeline that we were talking about, Kyle, where now, hey, Matumba Man's going to have BKB. You are mostly focused on magic damage.
Exactly.
You've also been mostly focusing on Pipe and Eternal Shroud. You don't have a whole lot of things to deal with the physical damage of Matumba Man.
You don't. You were planning on getting way further ahead as Liquid here. Because, to your point, you itemized for the mid game. You did not do anything to deal with PA. Mickey is a full item away from an MKB. You have no plus armor on your other 2 cores, any of your cores, really. So suddenly Matumba Man is king of the game, and Liquid are now what feels like an item behind. And timing-wise, yeah, Secret definitely feeling confident.
Does the game turn at any point later on for Liquid, or is it very much like they really got to get a good team fight and take control of the game right now?
It can always turn. It's RP, it's Chronosphere. You know,
that many big team fight spells, you always have an out.
Yeah. Same way you can never count out a team with an Enigma. Same deal here. It's just trying to do, I think, a better job. You got to bait more onto Sumail. Whenever we see this, when our observer has to work this hard, it is not good for Team Liquid.
Yeah. No, it means Secret is doing their job. They are super spread, poking constantly at the edges of the team fight, trying to find some exposed weakness right now. Maybe it's Sumail chasing after him.
Love how they're playing this. Just throwing off spells, trying to bait. You want to get these big cooldowns spent. You want to force Liquid out of position, and if you hard initiate onto this Leshrac, it's the really only thing that can happen where you would end up punished.
Level 20 for the Phantom Assassin. Very big, very scary. Getting lots of good vision off of the Hawk. Mickey, trying to find it. Heading up to top lane real quick, seeing if they can find Sumail. Sumail, he's got a Yule Scepter. He can certainly buy himself some time, but he may need to get it off now. Oh, the False Promise barely saving him. The Essence Ring turnaround. Now they're going to be able to blow up YapzOr. Sumail looking okay here for damage, as he's going to be able to get the kill on Puppy as well. Heals up to full. Nisha does manage to catch the backline support in Insania, but they're going to use the Chronosphere to be able to make sure Nisha pays for that kill. Gets a little bit of recompense for their captain dying. RP straight up on Matumba Man, and they're going to have lots of stuns to throw at him. No chance of being able to get off the BKB until perhaps it's too late. He holds on to it.
So you can see right there what happened. They initiated all in on the Leshrac. Insania there with just a moment to spare, and they turn it around. It's the nature of this game. 31 HP. 31 HP he survives, and then the nature of Sand King, once you stun in, you're pretty much left for dead. They blow the roar to interrupt the cookies, but at this point, now that you get the supports killed, they can just chase, blow huge cooldowns for solo kills, and it's going to be worth.
I would just like to say I'd like to formally lodge a complaint against Team Liquid. It's not very nice of them to use their chat wheels to use a legendary commentator to outshine the current commentators. Come on, how am I supposed to get you just throwing in classic LD lines? How am I supposed to compete with that, Kyle?
You gotta come up with some better lines.
All right.
I mean, you are still boys.
Doing it. Mickey, big chased away. They don't have Chronosphere, so this is not a good time to fight, even if they have Aegis and Cheese. So you're gonna retreat.
Oh, there's an idea. Commentator support packs.
Oh.
I'll take your treat.
Yeah, okay.
Support the fans of Dota 2 by
I believe that. I
me.
believe that's called the autographs. I believe Valve already gave us that, Kyle.
Take what we can get. Let's see. Outpost reclaimed. The kill lead is a bit misleading, as is the gold advantage. Yes, Liquid are feeling okay. The second age is picked up. Who took the shard? Who'd they give it to? To do Snapfire.
Okay, so they got more stuns, basically.
Yeah. It's actually pretty significant. It's a free 2-second stun.
Yeah.
That's pretty value.
Well, it does require you to be like pretty close to melee range on top of somebody. That can sometimes be bad, but certainly if they catch somebody like Matumba Man, keep him from using his BKB.
Yeah.
Be massive. You can see the win percentage going
Yeah.
up and down and up and down.
I actually want to stay. I don't think Secret should ever be going for.
Oh, Force Staff getting him away. Taiga and his choice of items may have just bailed him out there. And Mickey, almost ready to go with the Chronosphere, is willing to take the fight now. Oh, Taiga still going to be found on the tail edges of the fight. Nisha assassinates him.
Okay, are they going to find Matumba? Yes, they are.
All right. Skewer back. Do they have the stun? Oh, they missed it. Samael. He was barely off the mark, and now the BKB going off from Matumba Man. He doesn't have any of his team, though. He is all alone. Secret's not even making a move to try and help him out. They're actually gunning for the tier 3s instead.
What?
Yeah, they said, Matumba Man, you're way out of position. We're nowhere close to you. We can't help you, dog. Ice Blast. Oh, Samael leading the charge, and he's going to regret every bit of that. You thought you could defend with just 2 cores like that? Koifa does manage to get a skewer back onto Nisha. He'll jump away to his orb. Koifa survives, but without Samael, they are lacking a bit in defense. With no Chronosphere and no Samael, there's a little something missing.
Indeed, yeah. Insania was not there, did not have teleport active, so he had to do the long walk back to base. That's the second time Sumail gets caught being greedy. Once bottom, when he failed to TP away, and again top, now where he just sort of wanders into no man's land. They even had a ward there, so Secret was prepared. And I want to say, it's all about having Insania behind him. If you look at Sumail, he did what I expected. The Kaya Sanj, 30% spell life steal amplification, 25% HP regen amplification, plus the 20% spell life steal from Eternal Shroud, plus you have Insania, who's then going to give you double healing during Oracle Ultimate. So if Insania gets ult off and Leshrac has spells running, he's almost certainly going to survive because of, you know, multiplication and math and all that stuff. Alone, he's just dead. So more discipline will be required. Still a pretty even game. Matumba Man, you know, I guess he was first, so Sumail thought maybe he'd give his friend a freebie. Make sure his death was not so expensive.
14 to 23. Nag's almost done for the puck.
It's going to be huge.
MKB is done for our Faceless Void. Any other big item updates? Basher for the PA, that's decent.
You got the Sliver on Void, that's pretty huge. The status resist stacking with the Sanj and Yasha. The big issue you're going to have against the puck with Ags, just picked up, that BKB piercing coil. You can't leap. So suddenly you become susceptible to being jumped, but so much status resist will severely limit the amount of time he'll spend stuck. Top tier 3 is going to be okay, but Liquid got to be cautious. They're playing on top of Secret's vision right now. It's a good time for a smoke, but they got to reclaim their jungle.
I like that point you just made about the status, because especially if they get a coil onto like Sumail and Mickey, right? You can only false promise one of those. So the more that survivable Mickey is by himself, the easier Insania's game is to be able to focus on like, hey, I've got this glass cannon damage dealer. I want to false promise Sumail as much as possible.
Because we saw it already in that fight outside the Roche pit. Mickey, 100 HP from dying because Insania is going to be focused on Sumail. He's the squishier hero, and he does more damage at the moment. Better synergy as well with the Oracle abilities is Taiga. Gotta be a little cautious here.
Meanwhile, Team Secret, you could see their synergy, plain as day, amping up the PA as much as possible. The Beastmaster Aura, Solar Crest, giving him a pipe as well, and then they just have a bunch of disables plus an Ice Blast behind that. They are doing everything to make sure Matumba Man can go in with confidence and just blow people up one after the other.
And Liquid, it's a different style. It's all about getting their spells off the team fight. When Koifa's going for a Shadow Blade. He's not worried about amping his carry. He's just trying to ensure that their initiation and their team fights are taken in the optimal way. It's Mickey